video is going to cover how to model off a drawing. I'm going to use one of the drawings on my Canvas page, specifically this one, which is called Mechanical Drawing 51. Okay, there's many ways to model this, and I'm going to show you how I would do it. My brain tends to start with a plan view, which is the top-down view, and then once you have that bottom piece extruded, you could add the top to it. I would probably look at this right here, and this thickness is described on the side view. Push pull that up or extrude it up, extrude that up, and just keep working from there. Okay, you could start with a side view and extrude off the side and off that side. You could build half of it and then copy it and flip it. So there's no wrong way to do it. There's just different ways to think about it. Okay, so I'm going to start on it. Before I do it, I want you to just look at this and think. This is made up of very simple shapes, right? It looks like it's a rectangle. It's got a corner cut off on either side. The bottom is then a rectangle again that's pushed up. Here's a rectangle on the side. This is really starting off as a rectangular shape, and then I'm going to use a circle shape with the center point being on that center point. To get that arc, I can delete the extra circle that I don't need. That'll leave me a little bit on the top that I can negative extrude or cut extrude back using the push-pull tool in Sketchup, and I'm almost there. Okay, so let me see if I can find my Sketchup screen. Sketchup. Okay, and I'm going to start with a file new. I'm going to now go back to my drawing here, and let's look at something that we know. This is 1.25 by 3.5. Okay, so I'm just going to take a rectangle tool, and I'm going to go 1.25 comma 3.5, enter. Little teeny square, so I'm going to delete her. She's just not going to help us. And there's the start of our object. Okay, I'm going to come back here and figure out how tall that is. That right there tells me 0.5. Okay, so I'm going to extrude it up, 0.5, enter. Then I'm going to see what else I need to do. Okay, this is 0.15 or 1.563, and on both sides it looks like. So I'm going to go and I'm going to turn this. I'm trying to think. Actually, I'll draw it on the top. I like to use the pencil tool to measure, and I'm just going to draw a line, and it's going to be 1.563, enter. And if I move and I can find the end point, make sure it's red. Okay, there's my first measurement. I'm going to draw the same thing on this one. Again, 1.563, enter. I'm thinking I made a mistake because that doesn't look right. So I'm going to go back to the screen and see what I did wrong. Oh, that was a 4.5. Okay, I made it 3.5. So easiest way to fix that probably is just to add an inch on the end. I can move that an inch. Actually, I'll just delete it. Okay, I'm going to draw a new line here. And I'm going to go 1.563, enter. Find the end point. Okay, delete. This measurement, if I use my measuring tool, is 1 3/8 inches. That's exactly what this is. And there's a squiggly line equal because there's some rounding involved. Okay, so I'm starting to see what I need to do. This needs to go up now, 0.688. So I think I can literally just take this and go up 0.688, enter. Okay. I gotta think this through, right? Because what I did is I have this, and then this is pushed up. That should be from the bottom. Okay, I'm gonna Command Z. I'm not thinking this right. Maybe I can subtract 0.5 from 0.688, and I can push it up that little bit, which would be what? 0.188. Okay, that would get the start of this. I'm going to have to do some working forwards and backwards. But this is going to go up 0.188 to get that. Okay, so if I go and I push this up 0.188, enter, now it's starting to look correct. Then I have to make this thing 0.5 thick. Now I could just push it up another 0.5. Maybe I'll do that. 0.5, enter. And now the top of this should be in the right place, should be right there. But I want to have a hole on the bottom, and I don't have a hole on the bottom, it's just thickness wise. So I'm going to draw these lines again to push the bottom up, okay? 1.563. I could just trace it, that's faster than measuring. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to go down. I'm going to take this, I'm going to go down. Okay, if I swivel, I can find that point and I can come back like with a red line, escape, come back with a red line. Okay, I'm going to delete that line and that line. Don't need that, don't want that, don't want that, don't want that. And then this gets pushed up. Okay, so it's going to start getting real. 0.688. But I am seeing what's going to happen. If I push that up 0.688, it's going to just, that's exactly in line with this. But if you notice on the model, or on the drawing, this is a different width than the hole. See that? This is only 1 wide. This is 1.375 wide. Okay, so I've got to make that skinnier. Easiest way to do that is probably to go 1.375 minus 1 equals 0.375. That is also known as 3/8. This, then half of 3/8 would be taken off on this side, half would be taken off on that side, and I'm going to make this move half of 3/8, which is 3/16, in and in. Okay, so I'm going to push this in. I don't think I'm thinking. Now let's just try it. 3/16, enter. I think I'm still doing this wrong, but we're going to just go through it step by step. 3/16, enter. Okay, but let's look in the drawing. Okay, I think I can see what we're doing. So this looks like it's only this wide. It really needs to be clear out to here, but that, what I marked is the top of this hole. So I have to push-pull backwards to get the thickness. Let's just go ahead and do that. 0.75. 0.75. Where did I get 0.75? Right there and right there. So now if you look, I have this little step, and then I have this whole chunk built right now. Okay, and a little step. Little step, whole chunk, little step. Lines in the bottom. That's going to get pushed up. How far does it push up? 0.688. 0.688, enter. Okay, now I'm starting to get my shape. Okay, then I think I have to have walls here that go up. 0.75, 0.75 walls. So I got to draw a line right there, draw a line right there. 0.75. I like, again, pencil tool for measuring. 0.75, enter. 0.75, enter. Find the endpoint. Okay, I'm going to use a touching box to delete those, and that can get pushed up into a wall. That needs to be 2.5 from the very bottom to the very top. I have a ½ inch there and a ½ inch there. I add those together and I get 1 inch. Subtract 1 inch from 2.5 inches, and I'm left over with this being 1.5 inches. Okay, so I'm going to just push it up 1.5, enter. 1.5, enter. I'm going to just double check my math with my tape measure and make sure this whole thing is, that's 2 11/16. So something is wrong. I got to fix something. That's a ½ inch. From here down is a 1/2 inch. From here up is 1.5. So why is the whole thing not 2.5? We're off at 3/16. How can that be? I'm not really trusting the tape measure right now. I'm going to double check some measurements and try to find out if I have a mistake. That's 2 3/16. That's a 1/2 inch. From here up might be the mistake. 1.5. I'm gonna, from here up should be 2, because if I look at this, this is 2.5 minus a 1/2 inch is 2, and I'm seeing 2 3/16. So that might be my problem. I'm gonna push this down 3/16. I'm gonna push this down 3/16. And I think now my measurement is good. 2.5. Okay. I'm going to go File, Save, and just make sure I save it on my desktop. That way if I make a mistake, I don't have to start over. Okay, let's go to the drawing. What else do we have to build? We're getting pretty close already. Only thing I still need to build is I have to cut off this radius, okay? I built it to the very, very top. This line represents the start of the curve. So all I have to do if I'm at the very top is go down to the center point. The radius is 1.375, so the distance from there, the outside of this curve, to the center point is also 1.375. So I'm going to mark the center point on the side. So I'm going to take a line. If I'm lucky, it's going to find the midpoint. I'm going to go down, make sure I'm on a blue line so it's vertical. 1.375, enter. Then I can draw a circle with that as the center point to there. Okay, and I can delete that. And I have the piece I want. Delete the line. Do a negative extrude or push-pull to the back corner. Push-pull to the back corner. I don't know if I can delete that line or not. Doesn't look like I can, so I'll have to leave it. If it bugs me, and it does, I can hide it. Okay, it's looking good. I can do the same thing on this side. So again, line from center point down 1.375, enter. Circle tool. You can use the arc. I don't like the arc as much because it's kind of tricky, but let's see if it works. This is an endpoint arc, see that? So if I start here and I think I'm going to do a center point arc, oh, it does work. Okay. So if I go from here, but see, I don't know, maybe it's going to work. Try it from edge. No, see that? It's just not the right size. It's just hard to use an arc tool. That's why I like the circle tool. Circle tools are much more predictable. Delete the extra lines. Remember, don't just delete this, because if you delete it, you just deleted a little tiny chunk. Push-pull. Push-pull. Okay, and let's just be consistent, and we'll click on that line, right-click, hide, and it's looking like a beautiful thing. Okay, this is probably a good time to hit save again. I think the only thing I have left to do is make that hole. The hole is a 0.5 diameter hole. See the diameter symbol, not a radius symbol? There's your center point, and it's in the middle. So I have to first mark the center point, and then I can sweep that circle. 1.813 from the bottom. The total bottom? The total bottom. Okay, so I want to draw on this face though. I say rather than go 1.813 from down here, I'm going to subtract that thickness. Remember, that thickness is right there. I have to take this away from this to tell me from here up what I want. Okay, that's going to be 1.313 from there up to mark that center point. 1.313. So line, Should find the midpoint. Hop on a blue, 1.313, enter. Center point. That hole is how big a hole? 0.5 diameter. Sketchup works in radius, so it's going to be 0.25 radius. Okay, so if I go circle tool, 0.25, enter. I'm going to delete my extra lines. All I have to do is push pull that in. If I know the thickness, I can type in the thickness. If I just want to snap to the back side, I snap to the back side and you can see there's a hole in there. Okay, do the same thing on this side. I'm remembering that as 1.313, enter. The circle is going to be 0.25, enter. I'll delete the lines first, that's less work later. Push pull it, pick a back corner to click on, and we got a bunch of holes now. See that? You can see all the way through. Let's see if we got everything. I can see that from this side it looks good, but if you look at my 3D view, we're missing some holes right here. And if you look on my 2D views here, I can see a hole there. Okay, I can see it described over here, but there's no dimensions, but there are some dimensions for us. Okay, they're 1/2 inch from the edge. Oh, and I got to cut this too. 1/2 inch from the edge and 3/4 inch from the front, which is the same as 1/2 inch from the back, because this plus 0.5 equals this. So 1/2 inch from this, from both outside corners. That's what I'm going to build on my model. Doesn't matter what's the front or the back right now, because we haven't done the chamfer, the angle yet. I know a fast way to draw 2 lines. If you just use a square and you click on that corner and you type in 0.5, 0.5, enter, there's my center point. Okay, I might as well do it on both sides since I'm in the middle of that tool. 0.5, 0.5, enter. Okay, that point is all we need right there. How big is a hole again? These holes are 0.438 diameter. So I don't know if SketchUp lets me do math as I type in a dimension. I don't think I can go 0.438 divided by 2. No, that's too big. So I've got to find a calculator. 0.438 divided by 2. 0.219, and that's just because it was described in the drawing with a diameter, but you need to enter a radius. So 0.219 is what I need. 0.219, enter. That looks better. 0.219, enter. Again, I think it's easier to delete all the extra lines first. Otherwise, when you push pull, you end up with more work later. If you're wondering how I'm doing this so quickly, I'm using a mouse. It really makes your life faster. Push pull down. You can see it down there. I could type in 0.5, enter, because I know that bottom piece is 1/2 inch thick. Or I can push pull and snap to a bottom corner. Okay, either way works. Only thing I have left to do is do what's called a chamfer, which is that 45-degree angle here and there. How do I know how big the chamfer is? Right there, 0.375, 0.375. So I'm going to measure in with a line and a line, connect the dots, push this down, and make it go away. Okay, so line tool, 0.375, enter. Sometimes it remembers the last thing you did, like that. And then if you find the endpoint and you come over here, you find the endpoint. I can push this down, 0.5, enter, cut it off beautifully. Let's see if it's smart enough to remember. It did. 0.375 is 3/8, if you didn't know. Okay, and Generally, I like to go down, type in the distance to make it perfect. Okay, there's your part. That part looks just like that part. Okay, and that's it. That's what you need. Now you can double check it and make sure this top notch is thinner, is less wide than the bottom notch. Did we get that right? Yep. That distance is less than that distance. If you notice, the holes are not centered. They're kind of in the more towards the back. Like there's less space here than here, and that's because we have a chamfer. If we centered it, it'd probably be too close to the corner, to that like edge, and it might break. But I think that's it. So I'm going to call it a video that's been brought to completion.